Fox News did some grade A reefer madness fear-mongering over edibles. So check this out. It's hilarious, and then we'll talk about it.
A boy in Florida is now facing 7 felony charges after handing out gummies laced with marijuana to fellow students during gym class.
Those gummies contained 100 milligrams of THC, the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana. 5 of those students who ate those pot-laced candies were rushed to the hospital.
Joining us right now with his warning for parents in Polk County, Florida, of course, Florida, is Grady Judd. He's the sheriff there. Sheriff, there's so many states that are considering this, whether it's medical marijuana or recreational marijuana. This is a warning signal. What is your warning?
Well, I'm not a prophet and I don't have a crystal ball, but I've been telling people in the state of Florida for years that whenever you take a substance like marijuana and you put the THC into gummies, it's going to end up in children's hands. And when you look at the package, it's called the Green Hornet. It is packaged and marketed toward children. So what did we end up with? We ended up with 6 12-year-old children who overdosed on Green Hornet gummies full of marijuana.
Right.
That's right. They were stoned. They got very sick. 5 of them were transported to the hospital by ambulance.
Sheriff, do we know, did this kid know they were marijuana based, or did he think it's just candy? And if so, did he take him to the gym class because it's like, hey, look what I got? Or was it just an accident?
No, it wasn't an accident at all. He knew exactly what it was. It was a complete package, 100 milligrams of gummies. They're divided up or segmented into 10 individual doses for adults, sold legally in California, and somehow it made its way here. He's given us 2 or 3 stories about how he came upon this complete package, but he told another buddy, I'm taking it to school to sell it. Well, the 6 kids overdosed. The 6 of them had doses for 10 adults, and you can see the end results weren't good.
Sheriff, I'm thinking 12 years old. We were 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade then. I mean, you're just learning about life. No one's even thinking about, you haven't even kissed a boy at that point. How in the world are you seeing more of this where kids, not even teenagers, they're 12, where they're getting their hands on drugs?
Exactly. They're 12 years old, and they devoured this bar of gummies. But think about it for a minute. If this is truly medicine for the very sickest, why are we packaging it for children? Why are we calling it Green Hornet? And it stung all of those kids really hard. And by the way, we have stung the one kid that sold it with 6 felony counts, but we're looking to see where it came from. He's given us 2 or 3 different stories. But that's what's frightening, and that should be the overarching message.
And the other
These
thing
weren't
is,
even teenagers.
But no one talks about this. THC is addicting. People I know so many people, they say they were told one thing and they end up getting addicted to it. And that's an addicting substance. There is a price to pay for pot.
There absolutely is a price to pay for pot. You know, I spent my entire adult life in law enforcement, and a lot of it investigating traffickers of drugs. And it's not a minor nonviolent felony. It's ruining families and killing people every day across the United States. And we stand here in denial thinking that it's not a gateway drug to drugs that's killing people.
Yeah, you don't start on cocaine. You probably start with marijuana, and it leads to other things, right?
That's absolutely right. And still today, we have a meth problem across this state and country. If someone's in possession of meth, they're in possession of marijuana because it kind of cuts the edge of the meth. And then they use the marijuana and the meth, and they go out and kill themselves or overdose or kill someone else.
Right. Well, nonetheless, these particular gummies and the edibles are legal in other states, but, obviously in the state of Florida, it is not condoned for recreational use. Sheriff Grady Judd, Polk County, Florida. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cautionary tale.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for letting me be with you.
That was awesome. There was so much misinformation in that. Okay, so first, let's get the obvious out of the way. Is there anybody who's in favor of 12-year-old kids ingesting marijuana? The answer to that is no. Nobody's in favor of that. I've never met a single person in my life who said, yeah, we should let 12-year-olds have marijuana. So that is illegal. That will continue to be illegal. And there's not even a tiny movement on the side of let's get 12-year-olds to ingest marijuana. So on that front, we all agree. Conversation over on that front. Now, everything else he said was beyond ridiculous. So even the fact is, so they're charging this kid, a 12-year-old kid. They said 6 or 7 felony counts. You're going to charge a 12-year-old kid. It's funny because look at the double standard. Look at the double standard. They're so concerned. Oh my God, a 12-year-old ingested marijuana. These kids don't know what they're doing. Protect the kids. Poor kids, poor kids. But the kid who distributed them, like, throw the book at him. 6 or 7 felony counts for that 12-year-old. Well, wait, you just said it. When they're 12, do they really know what the fuck they're doing? No. That goes for the people taking it, and that goes for the person who was handing it out. Are you kidding me? But there's a double standard, because they're idiots. They're like, yeah, throw the book at 6 or 7 felony counts, yes. But the poor kids and the marijuana, they don't know what they're doing. Protect the children, protect the children. So I think, like, that's some shit bad people do. Like, a bad person would say, I'm going to charge a 12-year-old with 6 or 7 felony counts over eating too many weed edibles. If anything, that's just a funny story later on in their lives. Like, damn, remember when we were 12 and we were idiots and we took 10 times the normal dose and we thought we were dying? Yeah, ha 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 ha. That's just a funny story. At the time it was scary, I'm sure, but it's just, when you look back at it, it'll be funny. But they're going to ruin some poor kid's life over this. 6 or 7 felony counts. That's fucking outrageous. Okay. Then they keep talking about, they overdosed. 6 kids overdosed. You got to stop using that word, because they didn't actually overdose. That's not true. How do I know that? Well, according to every expert on this issue, a user would have to ingest about 1,500 pounds of marijuana within 15 minutes to actually reach toxic levels and overdose. 1,500 pounds of marijuana within 15 minutes. They didn't fucking overdose. They had a little too much weed. And they got paranoid as a result of it, because that's what happens when you have too much weed. To some people, myself included. But that's what happens, is you get a little paranoid. And people think like, oh my God, I'm dying. No, you're not. You're just too high, bitch. Like, that's the reality. And then there's the other thing they keep trying to get away with, is talking about how this was marketed to kids. I mean, that's why it's candy and it says Green Hornet on it. No, you can have marijuana candy that's for adults. How do I know it's for adults? It's illegal to sell it to kids. That's like, the argument they're making is the same as saying, oh my goodness, there are some peach-flavored or vanilla-flavored or strawberry-flavored alcohols in the world. Therefore, why are you trying to market it to kids? Nobody's trying to market that to kids. That kind of alcohol exists, and it is also illegal for kids to have it. There are adults who want peach-flavored or strawberry-flavored or, whatever, some fruity flavored alcoholic drink. So they keep trying to get away with these little bullshit points, and I'm not going to let you get away with it because it's nonsense. There are plenty of adults who like the edible candy. So fuck off. And then finally, this was a string of horrendous arguments in a row. It's addicting, they said. If you think it's addicting, you just don't know what that word means. It's a gateway to meth. A gateway to meth. Again, so the gateway argument is one of the worst arguments ever, because there's a causation correlation problem with that, Like, the reason why you moved on to do a harder drug is because you tried the softer drug. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody who eventually did meth also at some point in their lives ate pizza. Should we say that pizza is a gateway to meth? It just so happens everybody who did meth at some point in their lives ate pizza. Therefore, the pizza caused the meth. No, that's just not true. You're just drawing connections where there are none. So stop with the gateway stuff. And then if you really wanted to be serious or consistent in that argument, the gateway drug argument is nonsense. But there's also going to be another substance that they had first, and that would be alcohol. Now, that is not an argument to ban alcohol. Which is the point. It also wouldn't be an argument. Oh my God, some people did crystal meth, but they also had done weed at some point. That's not an argument to ban weed. It's just not. In the same way, it's not an argument if somebody drank a beer first and then later on in their life tried crystal meth. That's not an argument to ban beer. It's just not. They don't like logic. They don't care about it. They're just trying to be propagandists and fearmongers. And at this point, this stuff is falling on deaf ears, man. It ain't working. And then finally, it's not non-violent. This stuff is, these aren't non-violent criminals. This is violent. It is, by definition, non-violent. You want to know why? There's no violence. Bill O'Reilly used to make this argument all the time, and I would always be like, how did you say that? And actually, like, you should be embarrassed as you're speaking those words. Because you should know that everybody's going to look at you and be like, you're just wrong about that. That's not, like, this isn't a matter of opinion. You don't get to override the empirical reality. It's not non-violent. It is literally non-violent. Literally. As in nobody's actually physically getting hurt. That's just not the case. And then they said, this marijuana is killing people. What? No, it's not. Marijuana on its own has killed nobody. Nobody. And again, in order to actually overdose, you need to ingest around 1,500 pounds of marijuana within 15 minutes to reach toxic levels. Hasn't happened. So this idea, it's killing people, it's not non-violent, it's a gateway to meth, it's addicting, it's blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, that's what we're dealing with here. It is nothing but reefer madness nonsense. And guess what, guys? The year's 2018. This ship has sailed. You're not going to win this argument. You're not going to win this argument. At some point, we'll have legal recreational marijuana around the country, and that will be a glorious thing for freedom. And you guys say you love small government. You're on Fox News. You say you're right-wing. We love small government. Well, to make the government smaller, here's one thing you could do. Stop locking people up for nonviolent drug offenses and legalize it recreationally across the country.